Hey, what's up? It is DJ. Today we're taking a look at some gameplay for Farming Simulator 25 that I recorded at PAX West out in Seattle, Washington. So first up today, we have the John Deere S7. This is a brand new combine harvester coming to Farming Simulator 25. Also, I think we have a mod of it in 22 now as well. I just used a big header right here, and you can see we have a green line going down the middle. This is GPS. So you can also see over there on the left-hand side, we got the 9R with the DjGoHam cart waiting, ready to go. So the GPS is kind of interesting, especially right here. So you see that green line going straight down the center. What that's doing is just steering for me. My player character is still in the driver's seat, so I'm not just hiring the worker and letting them go, although the worker will do this as well. This is kind of semi-autonomous, if you want to think about it like that, in the most simplest forms in Farming Simulator 25. Here I've gone off the line completely, and you can see the other lines pop up as well. And those are the pre-done lines, basically saying, hey, if you really want to use GPS, line up with these lines. You hit activate AR, or activate worker, or activate GPS, either one, depending on which mode you're in, and it'll just line it up. You are still in charge of gas and brake, and when you get to the end, you still have to turn and move yourself and point yourself in the right direction. So heads up through there. Also, I saw some people talk about the animation right here with the grain cart. This was something that I'm not quite sure what happened in the first time that I played through this. However, seems to be working okay now. I was chatting with a couple people in the background while I was recording this, so may seem like I'm stuck on a couple screens. So here, just kind of going around showing off some of the animations. I also decided to drive off the beaten path, if you will. The flex is very good. These machines are super heavy. In the game, you can actually, like, it feels like when you do something that you're not supposed to do, you can kind of feel it. Also, when you're on things like dirt or when you're in the field, stuff like that, here I'm getting stuck. You could really get stuck with some stuff. But when you get onto the road like this, it takes off a lot more. You may be able to go back in the video a little bit and see that while I was in the field, I was actually having a difficult time. And because we're on the ground here, you could actually see that ground deformation on the right-hand side of the screen, which was quite interesting. Now, the rest of this, I'm just kind of driving around. I tried to get away with getting out. So here we've got traffic that I ran over. Sorry, guy. And then some other stuff. This is really cool. And one of the things that I found very interesting about driving around the map just here with the 9R was it didn't feel like a base game map. This felt like a mod map that someone had spent a lot of time to perfect and to make beautiful. And I want to make sure that that does not go unnoticed. And I'm pretty sure this was the landing of this clip because I was like, well, I'm not going to be able to go that way. So next up, we have the Sennebogen telehandler. This was just one of the coolest things that I've ever seen. Has that raising and lowering animation on the cabin itself. It's got a really far reach, which I thought was very, very good. I think it's only a single setup or a single boom. It's not a double. On the inside here, you see it does look very, very good. The mirrors do work. However, one of the things that I did find was, again, a lot of the screens and the camera inside is just a basic camera setup. It's nothing wild crazy. There you can see the extended reach on this, which was very nice. And again, we're going to see if we can drop this bale just perfectly. Can we do it? Yeah! We did it. Even though that's not where the food goes. That's where the straw goes. Oops. This is a super duper cool piece of equipment. We've never seen anything like this before, at least in the base game. So I thought it was extremely important to show you guys at least this. Again, on the inside here on the cabin, it does look really, really good. High levels of detail. And, well, of course, I had to go in first person and show you the raising and lowering of the cabin. Very cool. I really can't wait to see this in the base game. So next up is the New Holland T7 with the Grimm Matrix. I believe it's the 1800. Yeah, so we're going to be planting a little bit, and we're also showing off some ground deformation. Now, ground deformation is a little bit different depending on what piece of equipment you're using, what kind of wheels it has, how much weight is on there, and even kind of what time of the year it is. So here we kind of pulled forward. Did find out that we do have New Holland weights as base game. On accident. There we go. Hooking up to that. This matrix will plant sugar beets as well as canola, which was kind of interesting. And the ground has been cultivated or disc harrowed as far as we know. Now, I had a very difficult time going through here trying to figure out when I was planting and when I wasn't. And also, just because you have GPS enabled, that doesn't mean that it's just going to enable all of your equipment. You still have to lower it, you still have to turn it on. But here I'm using the GPS line. You see it's green. Now there have been people asking, can you turn this on and off? And I do not have an answer for you there. I do know that the lines completely disappear whenever you have a worker hired. So there's that. Also, when you have GPS enabled, it wants you to do lines around the whole field, but you don't have to do 2 headlands around the field if you don't want to. You can actually just go back and forth if you want as well. It's just going to keep going straight though afterwards. So if I hired it here, it would line up. You can see the yellow line there. It will line up with that yellow line. So boom, and when it's green, that means it is activated. So that's nice and easy. It's a really easy system to get used to, but it was a very different system to try to get used to on the fly in front of a lot of people. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Also up here, we're going to be going over some of the areas that we've already gone through with the ground deformation, and you can see, yes, it resets that ground. Now, can you drive back over it? Absolutely. I don't know if I actually did that in this video or not, but if you drive back over that ground, it will deform the ground again. Let's see here. Yeah, there you go. So you can see that the ground was deformed, and we can line back up with other areas that we've already done. Here we go. I tried to line this up and fix this part and still forgot to turn on the machine. But yes, it will deform the ground if, yeah, there it is. Showed you like that, which is very cool. I tried to answer a couple questions like that through there. It's a really neat piece of equipment, but it's super duper heavy, man. And now it's twister time. So we are in the Case IH 715, that Quadric Stagger. Absolutely beautiful piece of machinery. We've got the Bednar disc harrow on the very back, and I wanted to talk mainly about the Tornado, or Twister as Giant Software are calling it. At the top right hand corner, features not available. I tried to hire a worker. You can still do work around the harvester, around the twister if you want to. If you're harvesting a field, you can continue to harvest if you want to, especially. So this is the interesting part. You can kind of see the line that the twister takes. It comes from one side and kind of goes straight through. I don't know if it goes from exactly one point on the map to like another. Let's say you've got a hard point on the west going towards the east or something like that, or north to south. I don't know a lot about twisters in real life, but what I do know is that it's going to be destroying bales. We haven't seen that yet. We were not able to test that, unfortunately. But you can see I can walk right through it. You can drive through it with a piece of equipment. It doesn't matter. It's not going to cause you any damage. But it is going to damage your crop. So let's say you've come through and the crop is like this, where it's been harvested or withered, and you've got weeds on the ground. Well, it's going to destroy some of the weeds, and it's going to revert some of that back to a previous state. It may be a cultivated state or discarded state. I'm not quite sure which state it is. It's something that I haven't seen before, but you are going to have to go back through and work on it, which is interesting. All this stuff around is also going to be destroying some trees. However, the debris, yeah, right here, we show this kind of, I'm not sure what ground that is. As I mentioned, it even destroys the stubble, which was just wild. Here's another look at the twister. We kind of fast forwarded a little bit more time here. We're in the Oxbow harvester. You can see here we're harvesting spinach right beside the twister without any worries. So this is one thing that I'm saying. You can kind of see where it's come through the field over there. I can zoom out here. Yeah, there's a very clear line of, hey, here's where the twister's been. So if you slow down time, because it's going to move with time. If you got time at times 5 or 10 or whatever, it's going to move a little bit faster or a little bit slower at 0.5 times, which I've got up here. So you can kind of line up like the area in front of where the twister is and try and get that harvested quickly. Although if there's swathing, I'm not sure if it's going to be deleting the swath or destroying the swath. From here, it looks like it's just demolishing a lot of different stuff throughout. So with this being seen, and with that being said, twisters are going to cause some trouble. Now, it has been said that we'll be able to turn off the destruction that the twister makes, but we don't have an absolute definite for that yet or not. It would be very nice, especially for new players coming in, be like, well, I just started the game and a tornado has completely destroyed everything. That would be extremely difficult, especially for new players. So hopefully that is not a thing and we'll be able to turn that off. However, I will say it's kind of cool. It's very novelty. It's neat. but it also destroys trees, as I mentioned. Here's another angle from I tried to get onto the ground. You could see some areas where I've already swathed. However, it's completely destroyed that area. I did also want to show the running water. Man, the running water looks good, even in a twister. And then keep an eye out on some of these trees in front of us. As the twister goes through, those trees are going to magically just switch, and they're going to change into a different tree. I think maybe this one right here. Yeah, there we go. So just immediate. You can rewind just a little bit, and you can see. This is going to do it to a lot of the trees. At least every single tree type that we were able to see the twister go through, it changed. Now, I will say this. It's putting that, look, you saw that one? It puts down a different tree. So all of the trees that it goes through, it's like, oh, I don't know what kind of tree you are. Bam, let's throw this tree in there. So that's something else as well. And yes, it will even do grass. So this is a grass field, and it's showing growth harvested. And this is not a harvested grass field. It is ready to be harvested. So it's going to destroy grass fields as well. And it will just continue to go along. So this is following a pathway just straight across the map. And it's going to be interesting. So I think that's probably a good place to call it with this one. I'm going to have quite a few of these videos. So go back, take a look. I've got a full, really long video of me with an interview with Kermit from Giant Software at PAX West 2024. And we did all the gameplay stuff, all of the demo stuff here, but I've got a lot more than that. So stay tuned. There's a lot of fun stuff coming. If you haven't picked up FS25 yet, you can do that via the link down in the description. Use code DjGoHam, and that'll help support the channel without any extra cost to you. It's PC only, so keep that in mind as well. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a great day. We'll see you later.